Alright, signal and train control rule standards instructions. Signal train control 2 automatic block signal system subpart B. Learning objectives. Understanding of these regulation engineering design standards must be incorporated with the design of automatic brake systems. Automatic brake signal systems. Understanding of the action during the installation maintenance modification system must negate these design standards. Caution: the following presentation was developed to provide general information only for the detailed compliance information. Please refer to Title 49 CFR 236 Rule Standards Instruction Subpart B and Signal and Train Control Technical Manual recommended with each employer. Refer to the appropriate manuals regulation when dealing with any specific issue. The FRA standards instruction consider the minimum standards allowed for the installation, inspection, maintenance, repair, signal, train, control system, device, appliances. Each railroad may adopt more stringent standards. Refer to your railroad signal standard instruction manual for further guidance. Standards. Alright, your track circuit control signals. These control circuits are home signals aspect. Indication more favorable than proceed at restricted speed shall be controlled automatically by track circuits extended through the entire block. 236.201 track circuit control signals. 236.708 block. A length of track defined and limited to use of which the train is governed by blocks, signals, cab signals, or both. Both lengths are opposing movements. 236.201 track circuit control signals. 236.708 block. A link of the track defined and limited use of when the train is governed by block signal, cab signals, or both. Shows block lengths and following movements. Alright, 236.708 block. A link of the track defined and limited use of which the train is governed by block signal, cab signals, or both. Block lengths following movements. Block. A length of track defined and limited use of the train is governed by block signal, cab signals, or both. Block lengths of following movements. 236.708 block. A length of track defined and limited use which for the train is governed by block signal, cab signals, or both. Block lengths of following movements. Or signal governing movements over hand operated switches. Signal governing movements over hand operated switches required to display the most reflective aspect if the points are not in proper position. The signal governing movements of overhand operated switch rules require each switch to be interconnected with the signal system which the switch is not properly positioned. Each signal governing movements over the switch will display its own restrictive aspect applied with both automatic and block and traffic control systems. Hand-operated crossover between main track protection rules require that the hand-operated crossover between the main tracks provide with the protection of the train operating on both tracks. Hand-operated crossover between main tracks and protection. Electrical switch lock, a facepoint block, a switch control, and track circuits. Hand-operated crossover between main track protection. Signal governing movements with either switch must be in restricted state when the switch on controllers and track circuits are used, and signal must be in most restricted state when either switch is not in proper position or the crossover occupied with the train, locomotive, or car. Hand-operated crossover main track protection signals governing movement over either switch must be in most restrictive state. When facepoint locks are used, then all signals must be in most restrictive state when either switch is unlocked. Signal governing movements over the which the switch must be in the most restrictive state. When using facepoint lock controls, signal and lever, the signal must be in their most restrictive state before they are unlocked. Signal governing movements over which the switch must be in most restrictive state. Main track releasing circuit, electrical locks used before electrical locking releases. Our track signal movements of the both direction requirement. The rule requires the track signal of the movements of both directions. Train shall cause one or more opposing signals ahead of the display with the most restrictive aspect. Signals require that there be space in the range of the provided stopping distance opposing train. Absolute permissive signaling. Absolute permissive block signaling. When a train passes the head block signal, it must cover the opposing head block signal display aspect no more favorable than stop. Track signal for movements in both direction requirements. Is the distance between the signals enough to provide adequate braking distance? If not, special circuits may be required. Track signal movements for the both direction requirements. Automatic block signal systems passed simultaneously by opposing trains can pose problems. Both trains interblock on clear signal. Automatic block signals passed simultaneously opposing trains can pose problems. Both trains approach stop signals at maximum authorized speed. Track signals for movement in both directions. You see they collided. Track signals for movements in both direction requirements. Overlap. Circuit with the forces tumble down may be required to prevent possible head-on collision. Remember, automatic block signal system is a safety overlay with the method of operation. Trains are authorized to move with the train order, track warrant, etc. Automatic block signal does assist preventing human error. The track signal movements of the both direction requirement train on the right is held allowing the other train to advance slowly, safely toward the meet. The train right is continued to be held, allowing the other train to advance safely toward the switch. The train can safely pass one another. The train to the left has now taken the siding and successfully met the train to the right, and the train to the right has a green signal for departure. The automatic block system overlap system is different than absolute permissive block. Absolute block system overlap system. Absolute block system overlap system. Both trains stopped at red signals. Collision avoided. Absolute permissive block. Opposing head block signal set to stop. Control circuits are required to be installed so that each signal will be displayed most restricted aspect when the block is governed is occupied by a train, locomotive, or car. Control circuits are required to install that each signal will display most restricted aspect when the block is governed. Switch is not in proper position. Control circuit is required to be installed that each signal which displays most restricted aspect when the block is governed is independently operated. Derailed. Equipped with the switch circuit control is not in a derailing position. Signal control circuits requirements. The control circuits are required to be installed that each signal will display most restrictive aspect when the block is governed is track relay is de-energized. Signal control circuits requirement or a device that functions track relay in its most restricted state when the signal control circuit is de-energized. Signal control circuits requirements apply with both automatic blocks with the traffic control system. Signal must display with the most restricted aspect with any of the additions listed in paragraph A, B, C, or D of the rule occur. This rule is applicable for the design and installation control circuit. The rule does not require that the bonus restricted aspect to be red or stop aspect. Battery or power supply with respect to relay location. The rules require that the source of the energy be located in the circuit farthest from the relay where the open wire circuit for the common return circuit is used. Battery and power supply respect with the relay location. Rule prohibits use of loop circuits and vital circuitry. Show that the crossed-out energized line wire wrap vital control circuits. Electrical lock hand-operated switch. Control. Electrical lock on a hand-operated switch is prohibited before being unlocked before control circuits of the signals governing movement over switches are open. Approach to time lock must be provided. Electrical lock on hand-operated switch control. While time locking, approach locking is required on electrical switches, locks in absolute block system territory. There are no testing requirements. Therefore, the railroad is not required to make periodic testing approach on the time locking at these locations. This is the Title Signal and Train Control Fundamentals, Title 49 CFR 236 Subpart B, automatic block signal systems at the end.